So welcome back to my channel. This is Dom and an update on some of my most recent painting projects. First of all, apologies, I lied. I said in one of my previous update videos that I'd kind of finished with my Russians. Yeah, when's a project ever finished? Partially I'm blaming, I always have to blame somebody else, don't you? It's not your own fault. But I'm blaming Jonathan, who I've been playing O Group with. We played a scenario where I was a defender and I had a sniper, and it was great fun. I mean, the mechanics for a sniper in O Group are really clever. So it just basically pops up anywhere around the table. Doesn't really do a huge amount, just puts a little bit of shock on units from time to time, but sort of has that annoyance factor, which I think is simulated really nicely, a sniper at battalion level. And I realised I didn't really have a sniper figure, and I was looking at Geek Villain's new 3D range of 3D printed figures, and I saw they had a rather nice sniper, which is this group here. So it's a female sniper here coming into position, and a male sniper taking aim. Now they're 3D prints and they're a bit chunky, but I quite like them actually. They've come out rather nicely. This is, well, I was there, of course, while you're looking, you look at other things, and saw they had this little field gun, I suppose it's a short 76 howitzer type thing, infantry gun, that's what the word I was trying to think of. And again, I thought that was a useful addition to my Russians, so we got those and have painted them up. I'm quite pleased with how they look. Actually, they've come out pretty good. As I say, the figures are a little bit chunky, but I think they'll fit in pretty well with the rest of my 15 mils. So that was the start. So I could say that to make up the postage, I bought some other stuff, but that wouldn't necessarily be true. And since I'm admitting I've already lied, I'm not going to lie again. So I just thought a couple of trucks would be useful. So these are more 3D prints from Geek Villain. Lovely little models, actually. I'm very impressed with them. They're very high quality resin. Can't really see the lines as much as you can on some of my earlier earlier sort of 3D prints that I picked up. I guess the quality of resin has improved, the quality of the printers have improved. But these will be nice. I don't. Again, O Group doesn't really need much trucks. But I thought while I was getting some extra bits and bobs, I might as well get these. These are gas trucks. And as I just painted them up as standard, same way as I did all the others, black undercoat, then sort of a drag brush with the green over the top, the back, the bits here for the containing where the troops would sit. Just use a brown, then a good wash with a camo. On the wooden bits I used Agrax, and then a gentle dry brush over the top, and I think it's quite the red stars are from the battle group boxes that I've already been working my way through, so I had lots of spare slogans and stars, so put them on just to make them look a little bit better. So there you go, some trucks. And so nobody pointed out the error of my ways with my collection of Russian stuff. I didn't have any KV1s, so that's been rectified. Again, these are 3D prints from Geek Villain. I'm very impressed with them. I thought they were absolutely awesome. Love them to bits. You can see a little bit on the back of the on the engine compartment. You can see this a little bit of the lineage where the printers obviously printed these out, but it's very hard to see, and after they were painted up, you know, I think they've come out pretty well. My only other complaint, and it happens all the time with 3D prints, it also happens sometimes with plastic models, is all the gun barrels are all bent downwards, so I've had to stick them in boiling water and try and get them to straighten out, and even then I had to have another go at them. This one still looks slightly bent downwards, but anyway, that's a small price to pay for, you know, vehicles that are extremely cheap when you get them as printouts. Again, I used some of the slogans and the stars from the battle group sets because I had some spares. Because KV-1 is primarily an early war vehicle, I decided to put slogans on them, which is kind of what I've done with the vehicles in my Russian 15mm army. Is the earlier war ones have the slogans, the later war ones just have the stars, just because they're a bit more workmanlike later in the war. Yeah, nice models. These ones come, the turrets are separate. They were a bit of a squeeze to get on, so that they have a little sort of nipple, well, actually quite a big post on the hull, so you stick them down. In theory they should turn, but it's so tight they just won't. And the tracks came separately, but otherwise it's, you know, pretty much a one-piece model, which was great. Well, three-piece model, I suppose. 4 if you count the tracks separately. 4-piece model, be accurate, Dom. But I think they've come out really nicely. I'm quite pleased with those. So to go along with all the O group stuff, I also worked up these, again, they're 3D prints. I think I'm pretty sure they're 3D prints. Just a ruined, couple of ruined buildings and then piles of rubble to go around them. Just really simple job. Sprayed them all black. And then sort of drag brushed over all the brickwork with a terracotta-y kind of colour. Picked out the wooden slabs and what have you, did the walls in white, and then picked out a few of the individual stones or bricks with a bit of yellow, a bit of white to match the walls, and some darker colours in there just to get a bit of variety into the piles, and then a really generous wash with Agrax, and a good dry brush over the top to sort of bring out some of the features, and I think it works quite well, and that'll be a nice little feature to put on the table. So this is slightly random. This is another one of the bits of terrain that I've got kicking around in the bunker here, in the boot room, sorry. This is a sort of, I guess it's a sort of a log cabin for North American campaigns. It's from that American company Arcachon. I'm not sure it's necessarily his best work. It's a bit almost cartoony, but I quite like, I sort of like the effect of it. So I've painted it up. I might do a little bit of work of around the basing area, but you know, it's just another building which will be useful in games. And the fact the lid comes off is also kind of useful. I've got another one which has a thatched roof, or a reedy kind of roof anyway. This one's obviously supposed to be wooden panels, which is what I've tried to simulate. Not sure I really like it that much, but as I say, it's a bit of terrain. So I mentioned last time that I'm, having done my Russian force, I'm now embarking on a German force to be able to play solo games here in the boot room. And so I've been picking up various German, particularly late war formations. I probably will also expand that into some earlier war as well, so that I can do different periods of the war, because I believe the next supplement that's likely to appear from O Group campaign book is going to be something based around the early war in Russia, Barbarossa. So I need to, inverted commas, to have some forces usable for that. So the Russians are pretty much the same. I just need some lighter armour, which is coming. And the Germans, however, annoyingly, they had different different kind of camo patterns in the, well, didn't really have camo patterns early in the war. It was just the standard field grey uniforms. And most of these troops that you're going to see now are wearing smocks and various other things. So yeah, a bit annoying, but there you go. So this, first up, this is an anti-tank gun battery. This is from Skytrex, 15mm metals. It's a little pack, nice little pack actually. You get the field gun deployed, and then you get the field gun with its tractor limbered up. Although it was fiddly as hell. Well, it wasn't the actual construction of the model was very easy, but the one I got, the metal was rather bent, and I'm looking at it now thinking I didn't properly straighten out some of the stanchions, supports on the towed version, but never mind. So yeah, I painted them up with the same sort of camo pattern as I did with the Tiger and the Stugs from last time round, and not much else to say about these fellas. So for O Group, you also need a battalion HQ, or company HQ, sorry, which will be this fella. Well, actually, no, it is battalion HQ, which allows you to mark up the HQ orders on it, which is where the dice fits in. And then this is my observer for the German army with its little wagon to transport him around. The wagon is actually a 3D print from Geek Villains. They, as I showed you with those KV1s, they're producing some rather nice 3D printed vehicles and troops. Very impressed with them. So yeah, that's the start of my sort of headquarters section you get with all the O Group armies. So that's the headquarters and the observer. So as I did with the Russian force that I painted up, I also did combat patrols for the Germans, using single figures based on these round bases and just lots of tufts and what have you, to sort of show that they're sort of hiding in the undergrowth, spotting the advance of their own troops. And they play a really important part of the game, so you do need combat patrols, because effectively they become drop-off points for reinforcements, and allow you to sort of take ground within the game. So fairly vital, which makes them a lot of fun, which is why I wanted to turn them into proper counters rather than just using tokens, which of course you can do. But I'm quite pleased with how these came out. So here are my German late war infantry. Most of them are in the smocks, camouflage smocks. They are mostly Battlefront Flames of War figures. There's a couple of metal Skytrex 15mm in there as well, just to sort of add a bit of variety. But primarily they're plastics from the Flames of War sets, which I think are excellent little models. Especially, well, the plastic ones are. I'm not so keen on the resin ones, but the plastic ones are great. So in the same way as I did with the Russians, these are based, so each of these is a section, which forms the platoon. So 1, 2, 3, 4 platoons here. One of them, one platoon is predominantly SMG armed. So there is an option, I think, within the army list to choose some machine gun armed German troops instead of rifle armed. So I've got the option there. I've also got some more to paint up, but this will allow me at least to get a game in, because 3 platoons is pretty much a standard game in O Group. You'll see also they've got integrated machine guns in there, light machine guns, and also a number of them have got Panzer Fausts as well, because of the late war, and they have intrinsic anti-tank capability within them. So yeah, all done, ready to see the table. So for each of the four platoons, you've got an officer group to go with them. So again, I've just painted these things up just to sort of be ready-made units. So four platoons need four platoon commanders ready to go. So yeah, there's not much more to say. Again, they're battle group plastics. I think these ones are actually Skytrex metals, but yeah, just nice little command bases. So as well as the foot sloggers, we've got some support. So this is an infantry gun, 76mm or 75mm, I think. Infantry gun. This one is Skytrex again, I think. And then 2 Panzer Shrek teams on the outside. Again, there's an option, I think, within the army list in O Group for you to upgrade and to have Panzer Shrek teams with your infantry platoons. So I've done them separately so I can just attach them when I'm deploying them. So yeah, nice again, nice little models. Will be useful on the table. And I do like the infantry gun. In bolt action I use the infantry gun a lot, so I had to have well, in fact I got two. There's another one unpainted because the Skytrax set gives you two, but there you go. And next up, some mortar support. So again, each company gets a free mortar section to accompany it. And it doesn't actually play any role on the table. You don't need to use a figure for it. But one of the things they suggest is that if you do, you keep one on the table edge with your battalion HQ, so that you can show how many available batteries you have. And as I say, most you get at least one free. Some scenarios give you more than that, but there were these in the sets. I painted them up, so that is actually no. These are Skytrax metals again. So the Skytrax metal pack sent you, I think, 2 mortars in the pack. So I painted them both up, even though I'll probably only ever use one. Nice little models actually, really quite fun. I don't know if we can make it out, but there's they're very much action posed. You've got the guy just about to drop the shell into the top of the mortar barrel, guy covering his ears, ready to go, and then the officer sort of almost nonchalantly watching for the fall of shot. Yeah, nice little bases. And then finally, for now, on the infantry side of things, here's some medium machine gun bases. Again, you can... O-Group's quite interesting with the way it plays medium machine guns. So you have 2 options with them. You can either deploy them as part of your infantry. So you attach them to an infantry platoon. Therefore, they fire at the same range as an infantry platoon, but you get re-rolls depending on how many supporting sections there were with them. So if it's with a section of 3, then you get 3 re-rolls when you miss, with up to 3 misses with the machine gun firing, which I kind of like. Or alternatively, you can use them standalone, where they have an increased range, don't fire quite so many dice, and certainly don't get the re-rolls, which sort of simulates the sort of dual function, either as a close support weapon for the infantry or as a sort of area denial, keep the head down support weapon, which they were often used as. So I quite like that idea. So anyway, there's 4 bases here. These are all metal because the Flames of War kits that I was using don't give you anything other than infantry and Panzerschrecks. They don't give you mortars or machine guns, which is why I bought some Skytrax metal ones to go with it. They're nice little models. Not quite as detailed actually as the plastics, but you know, still paint up pretty well. And at 15mm, you know, you can't really tell too much. What I do like about these is they're largely, there's one guy on a couple of the bases who have got smocks on. The rest of them are just using their normal field uniforms, which means I can use these for the early period, which will be great. So then next up, a bit more armour support. So again, these are from the Flames of War heavy tank destroyer kit that I bought. These are a pair of Pumas. No German army in bolt action leaves the garage without a Puma or 2 because they're such good little vehicles. I'm not sure they're quite so good in O Group, but there were 2 in the kit, and I just thought you do need recce units within your army from time to time, depending on the scenario. So they were lovely little models to pull together. Very, very simple to build. The wheels are all separate, but you know, they actually clip in and glue in really easily. I can think of a few Puma kits that I've made up in my time that aren't necessarily quite so straightforward, but these were. So that's them done. And then this is a Hummel. It's, again, a bit like the mortars. You don't really need things like heavy artillery on the O Group table. They tend to be represented by off-board resources. But again, one of the things they suggest is that if you want to, have the model there so you know that in this scenario you have, I don't know, if you have 2 off-board artillery missions, the moment you use them, or as you use one, you remove the model, and that reminds you that you've only got one left, or you've run out entirely. and since this was in the kit, I thought I would use it. I think it has some crew members, so if I'm feeling really brave, I might paint them up yet and put them into the vehicle, just to add a bit more spice to this. But yeah, that's that done. And then finally, on the vehicle side for the Germans, at the moment I've got more made up, but I just haven't painted them yet. This is a Panzer IV, again a plastic from the Flames of War kits. Really nice little model, and again just clips together so beautifully. I have to say, having struggled many a time with Warlord kits, where the you know, putting things like the skirts on a tank, they just never seem to work, but these just clipped on beautifully. It was so easy, so straightforward to do, and the effect is very good indeed. I know they're smaller scale, but wow, it just shows that if you put your mind to it, you can create a model that even a Luddite four-thumbed person like me can put together quite easily. So yeah, it's a late war Panzer IV. Not exactly sure the mark. It doesn't really matter, I don't think, necessarily. Again, I've used the sort of standard dabbed on camo that I've used in all the vehicles, mainly because I don't have any other way of doing it, and I quite like the effect of it. And it seemed to be, everything I've read about German camo was that you know, they arrived from the factory, if you like, in their sort of primed Dunkelgelt, sort of yellowy colour, and the crews just used whatever they had to put the camo on. Generally it was a mop and smacked it on. So I thought, well, a nice old blunt, slightly crispy paintbrush doing the same kind of motion that a mop would do would give me the effect I was looking for, and actually I quite like it. So it's not as neat and tidy as some, but I think the effect is grand. So there you go, that's the tanks that I've done so far. So finally, I don't want anyone to think that 28mm is dead in my heart. It is not. I'm going to carry on doing my 28mm as much as these 15mm. So just to prove the point, I thought I'd better do some 28mm this week because I haven't done much 28mm for a while. So here is a unit of 6 Prussian Napoleonic Jaegers. They are metal miniatures from Warlord games. As you may know, I'm sort of building out a sort of smallish Napoleonic 28mm army. I've got a few battalions that I bought off eBay, and need some guns, light infantry, commanders, that sort of thing. So I've got a few of those to paint up over the coming weeks and months, just to sort of make that unit, that little force, sort of usable in games. So this is part of that project. I guess they could also be used for sharp practice or shakers and bayonets. Nice little models, actually. I quite enjoyed doing them, and giving them the green Jaeger uniform was always fun. So there you go, that's them. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed that look through of what I've been working on. I say very much heavy on the O group stuff. I'm slightly addicted to O group at the moment. I'm away now for a couple of weeks holiday, actually. My summer holiday coming early this year, which is nice. So no painting, lots of reading, lots of planning, and I'll probably come back with about another 15 different project ideas that I want to work through. But in the meantime, thanks for everyone who's watched all the videos for the first half of this year and beyond. If you like what you see, subscribe, hit that like button, hit that notification button, do all the good stuff. If you want to support me in any way, then you buy me a coffee or become a patron. All the links are in the description. So anyway, stay safe, stay well, and I will see you when I'm back from holiday in a few weeks' time. Thanks very much for watching.